Hey everybody, I am Greg. I am with the Cardboard Chronicles. For those of you that don't know us, we are a brand new website. If you go to the cardboardchronicles.com, we are news, we are reviews, we are thought pieces on everything going on in the TCG world. But now we are also video content. So today we are going to be taking a look at the MagicCon Secret Lair bundle from the most recent Chicago MagicCon. Now, these were available on the Secret Lair website. I know a lot of people have some very strong opinions on Secret Lair. It's not print on demand. It is very limited availability. And these are actually, last time I checked, they were still available. So you may be able to head over there and go get one for yourself. They were $211.99, but they do include a mystery booster 2 box. They include some really cool foils. We are going to be opening this up, taking a look at it, opening a few packs and seeing what we get. So let's get started with the unboxing. So like I had mentioned, this is the Secret Lair MagicCon box. I do love the art that they do on these boxes. They feature some artists that are in the Mystery Booster 2 kind of playtest cards that are kind of fun cards, not set legal. If you play in a pod with your friends, they're fun cards you can throw in if your table agrees to them. That just add a little bit of what first, cool art, and second, a little bit of individuality and spice to the game. The set was released on February 3rd, 2025. Like I said, it was around $212. And let's get to opening it. So, Wizards does a really good job on packaging. They always have. And they do include the really cool art kind of board piece that shows off the art from the Secret Lair that is included inside of this bundle. So, let's actually open first, though, our promo cards that you get with each of these. So, I'm going to go ahead and open these really quick, if I can open them really quick. And as you can see, it starts off with one of those kind of convention playtest cards. You get Second City. So tap, add a mana, tap, add 1 mana of any color, spend it only to cast your second spell in a turn. And when that mana is spent, you create a deep dish pizza token, which is a food artifact. Fun throw over to Chicago, which is where this MagicCon was held. And it is their kind of signature, the Chicago deep dish pizza. More of a casserole, less of a pizza. I have pretty decent opinions on Chicago pizza. Being from the Detroit area, of course, Detroit pizza is superior to Chicago pizza, but that's a pretty fun card that they start off with there. Then you are going to get a nice foil version Future Sight Border Ponder. So Ponder, standard card if you're playing blue. Really cool art on the Ponder. In the Future Sight, I love the Future Sight borders. I wish they would do more stuff. Like, they go back to the retros now a lot, but I wish they would do more stuff with classic borders. The Future Sight border is super cool. I actually would not have mind if they would have moved Future Sight into standard printing and made it the actual border, but it's a really cool card with that foil ponder right there. Next up is the one that everyone is clamoring over. If you are an EDH player, if you do play some Commander, you do get a foil copy Future Sight Border the First Sliver. Cascade sliver spells, you have Cascade, so it is an extremely powerful card. It gives you that 5 color advantage in a Commander deck to be able to play whatever colors you want to play with. And if you're a sliver player and you don't have it, really awesome. Just again, some people want their commanders to be really flashy. You can't really get much more flashy than a future foil Future Sight version of a card that was not in the original Future Sight set. So this is a really cool card. And then the last promo card you get is Sarah the Benevolent. So +2. It's a really cool. And I don't know how people feel about it, but the non-planeswalker style planeswalker. If you give a planeswalker with a retro border, +2 creatures you control with flying get +1/+1 until end of turn. -3, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. And -6, you get an emblem with if you control a creature. Damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. You do get the little counter down in the corner for your planeswalker counters. But for some people, I could see maybe the layout of the card is a little bit confusing. You do have kind of the promo star flying right behind the text right there, which may make it a little harder to read. But I do like the retro borders. I've been playing the game for over 20 years. It is the border I started with. But I'm not sure that I like the retro border on Planeswalkers. I do like it on standard cards quite a bit, but on Planeswalkers, it just jams a lot of text into a really small box that kind of makes it a little bit harder to read. Nonetheless, the art, really cool on this one. I love the art on this one. Very nice. Next up is the actual secret lair itself. So this secret lair is called Animar and Friends. I did a little write-up on it over on the website, so you can go check it out. But they kind of focus this one around Animar and cards that go really well with Animar. So we're going to take a look at these. So here are the cards that are included with the secret lair, and the art I do love in these ones too. So you start off with Muldrifter, and this is probably the least consequential card in the set. It's a 5-drop flying. When it enters, draw 2 cards, and it has Evoke, and it is a 2/2. Now again, the art on these absolutely beautiful. Next, you're going to get All Will Be One. Now, All Will Be One is a really great card. Whenever you put one more counter on a permanent or player, an enchantment deals that much damage to target opponent, creature, an opponent controls, or planeswalker an opponent controls. And this goes really well with Animar. Animar is all about getting counters, and then you've got other cards in here that move counters around that allow you to then just do more damage to your opponent. So All Be One originally, I believe, in the Phyrexia, the newest Phyrexia set. Really cool art here by Jack Teagle. He posted it over on social media as well before it was released. He didn't even know that it was going to be part of the secret lair until they kind of announced it to everyone. So the next card you have is Benevolent Hydra. It enters with X +1/+1 counters on it, and if one or more +1/+1 counters would be put on another creature you control, that many +1 is added instead. So again, you're getting more counters on all of your creatures. You can tap him to remove a counter from a creature and put it onto, and then put a separate +1/+1 counter on another target creature you control. So you would remove one from one and add one to another. It is not shifting them. It's a removal and an addition. And then you can see you've got the Snaky Hydra there, just murdering all the innocent forest creatures. The next card included is Forgotten Ancient. Forgotten Ancient, whenever a player casts a spell, you can put a +1/+1 counter on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, you can move any number of +1/+1 counters from this creature onto other creatures. Now, this is a move. This is not a removal and an addition. So you're actually moving the counters from one creature to another. It is a 4-drop, an 0/3. So it is it's a decent, not a decently chunky blocker, but it's a blocker for 4 and has a really good effect that then goes with our Animar Soul of the Elements. I love the High Sloth who is hugging a mountain peak. Absolutely amazing art. Animar, protection from white and black. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Animar. And then creature spells you cast cost 1 less for each +1/+1 counter on Animar. So you can kind of see the flow there. You are getting all your counters, you moving them over to Animar. Your creature spells cost a ton less to cast, and you can move them freely kind of with Forgotten Ancient. So when you move them off, you can boost up other creatures. You can put more tokens on Animar to make your drops cost less. And it's all very synergistic for the secret lair. This is one of the more synergistic secret lairs that I've seen posted. And then the bonus card in this one is your Diregraph Captain. So Death Touch, other zombie creatures you control get +1/+1, and whenever another zombie you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life. This actually goes very well with the recent release of Ether Drift. Ether Drift has a ton of zombie play in it, which is really nice. And then Diregraph Captain is kind of a staple for those zombie decks. Whether you're doing graveyard recursion, so you're sacking creatures, your opponent's losing life whenever your creature dies, you're bringing those creatures back from the graveyard. There's really good bounce with Diregraph Captain. Like I said, a staple for zombie players in EDH. All right, so now let's get to some Mystery Booster 2 packs. Now, I don't think I'm going to crack the whole thing simply because it's a lot. There's a lot of packs in here. But I think what we'll do is we'll take a stack of packs. Let's just do these for right now. Let's just crack some of these. So, like I said, Mystery Booster 2, these are all cards from the list. So the list cards are reprints from previous sets. And then it also includes a playtest card, which are just, like I said, fun little cards that you could play with friends if your friends want to make them legal. Just to play with. So let's see what we got here. Ministrant of Obligation. We got On Sarah's Wings. Bergstrider. So the hit cards we're looking for in here are Urza, High Lord Artificer, Oracle of the Alpha. You'll see there's some Sliver reprints in here that go really good with that first Sliver card that was also included. Gix, Yawgmoth Praetor. Those are like the really, really high-end cards that you can get in here. So Blazing Crescendo, good card. Seething Anger. One with nature. Let's see what we got back here. Pearl Shard, Vindicate. So destroy target permanent for 3, white and black, which is nice, and a white border Deathrite Shaman. So, like I said, I really like these white border cards. Bringing them back from sets like 4th edition all the way back to revised and unlimited. It's really nice to see white border back, especially with new art, especially with new card style. It makes that white really pop. And especially with the extended section on the bottom where they put the little foil sticker, I really like what they've done with the white. And then a Future Sight Border Walking Ballista. Walking Ballista, a very popular card for people that like to have an infinite damage combo. There's a infinite damage combo with Walking Ballista and Under Construction Skyscraper. So another fun card. It's got a level up that lets you add mana to your mana pool depending on its level. But again, these are not tournament or regulated play legal, but you want to throw them in with your friends. Most of my friends don't have an issue with it. I guess it depends on your friend group and whether they like to let you play against the rules or not. So let's see what else we can get in here. Home of the Sun. So let's just go back to let's go to the back of the stack here. See Terramorphic Expanse, Hell's Caretaker. So Hell's Caretaker, good one. Sack a creature, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Good for recursion. Good for those zombie decks that you want to bring things back that you can just mill some cards and bring whatever you want back from the graveyard. Treasure Cruise. So delve and draw 3. And then we've got a Memnite. So that's a 0 drop, which is really nice, like Thopters. It's basically a Thopter without flying that you can just get a creature out on turn 1 for nothing. And then a Wise Drafter's Will. So pretty cool. Got a Karoo. I actually use this in a couple decks. Karoo is a really good kind of just drop land that adds a plains and a colorless mana. So it's a soul ring. You have to bring something back to your hand, but it adds an actual color to it as well instead of colorless, which is pretty nice. So you'll see cards from March of the Machines. You'll see cards from Strixhaven. So the list actually goes back far, but it also includes a lot of pretty recent sets as well as deck symbols in there too. So when you're sorting your cards, you want to make sure you check for that little magic symbol in the corner so that you're not putting it in the wrong stack if you're a sorter like I am. Pernicious Deeds. So sack Pernicious Deeds, destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with converted mana cost X or less. Nice green-blue card, or nice green-black card there. A Jace Bellerin white border. That is a beautiful card. I like the white and blue combo. Jace is, I mean, probably the most favorited planeswalker out there. Beautiful card right there on that Jace Bellerin. And a Hoodwink. Return target artifact, enchantment, or land to its owner's hand. Good card for 2. 1 in a blue. And then the Many Deeds of Bells and Lock. Nice card there. A saga, just fun saga to play. So I'm liking what I'm pulling so far. I've pulled one of these boosters when they first released them with the last MagicCon bundle. I got a Cabal Coffers, which was nice in that one. So let's see what else we got here. Arcana of Absolution, Fate Stitcher. So you'll see a bunch of cards that people like to play in commons and uncommons in EDH. But we will look back here for Iron Scale Hydra. So if a creature would deal combat damage to Iron Scale Hydra, prevent that damage and put a +1/+1 counter on Iron Scale. This is actually a good one if you're making an Animar deck. Anything you can do to get +1/+1 tokens. Tarnished Citadel. Add a colorless, add 1 mana of any color. Tarnished Citadel deals 3 damage to you. So if you need a damage to yourself outlet, Tarnished will do it. And we have a Static Orb. As long as Static Orb is untapped, players can't untap more than 2 permanents during their untapped steps. So it's a nice little Future Sight border there. Toddler's Rage. Enchanted creature gets +2/+1 and has Tantrum. It's like Trample, but for blocking, which is actually pretty funny. And that is actually something I would like to see them bring an effect like this to the actual game, where if you block with more than what is being attacked at you with, that extra damage from the blocker also goes to the attacker, or also goes to the player like a reverse trample. I think it would be pretty cool. What else we got in here? Got Prava of the Steel Legion, Oathsworn Giant, Muddle the Mixture. Let's see, Hand of Death, Rabbit Battery. Let's go back here. Moment's Peace is actually a really nice card too. Prevent all damage that would be dealt this turn. A 1 one in a green, and it's got flashback. Let's see. We've got a Quain Itinerant Meddler. Each player may draw a card, then each player who drew a card this way gains 1 life. A snow-covered swamp white border. So again, snow-covereds are fun lands that people just throw in their decks for fun. White border on it makes it that much nicer. And a Fluster Storm. Counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays 1, and it has Storm. Sliver of Hope. Slivers you control have Hope. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures with Hope. So that's pretty cool. A few more. And then I'll post over on Instagram or on the website any other cool like pulls I get out of the rest of the box. So if you check out, if you go to Instagram or you go to X or you go to Blue Sky, we're on all the major platforms, as you can see down in the bottom of this video. And I'll pull any other picks I get on there too. See, actually, Spirited Companion, if you run a Rin and Seri deck, this is an absolute must-have for card draw to get your deck to kick off pretty quickly. Plus, I also have a Shiba, and look how cute that is. It's just a very cute card. Stirring, Startle, Tomb Raider, Despondency. Let's see, what do we got in here? We've got a Cavalier of the Flame. So there's a lot on there. You can do a mana tap creatures, you get +1/+0 and gain haste. Whenever it enters the battlefield, discard any number of cards and draw that many. And whenever it dies, it deals X damage to each opponent and each planeswalker they control, where X is the number of lands in your graveyard. So again, good for a discard deck. Expressive Iteration. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 in your hand and 1 on the bottom of your library, and exile one of them. You may play the exiled card this turn. And we have a Hogak Arisen Necropolis. That is a beautiful 2-color Future Sight border, which really wasn't a thing when Future Sight came out. And now you see you get the nice gradient down on the bottom with the color. You get the split symbols up in the corner. You can't spend mana to cast this spell. Convoke, Delve, you may cast it from your graveyard. So it's another one, Graveyard Recursion. You get an 8/8, you can cast it from your graveyard, and it is trample. New Master of Arms. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt by blocking creatures that are tapped. Pretty cool. And then, so again, just staples. Staples that you would see in a lot of commander decks. Rewind. Zombie Infestation, so you got more zombie play. Goblin play. Just stuff that you want to keep putting into it's just basic cards, guys. Questing Beast. Vigilance. Death Touch, Haste. Questing Beast can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. So it's making combat damage not preventable. When Questing Beast deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target planeswalker that player controls. So that's actually a very, very good green card there. A Snow-Covered Mountain, so nice art on the Snow-Covered Mountain as well. Oath of the Druids, another beautiful card here. So at the beginning of each player's upkeep, they choose target player who controls more creatures than they do and is their opponent. The first player may reveal cards from the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. If the first player does, that player puts that card onto the battlefield and all the cards revealed into their graveyard. And a Processing Plant. So yeah, it's a land Olmog's power plant. So again, a pretty goofy card. I love the art on these two. They just try to make them funny. And actually, some of them are pretty useful. I wouldn't mind them to actually be printed in constructed play to make them an actual legal card, because the effects themselves are not really meant to be super funny. Just the wording and the art, but some of them are actually really good, and I could see really good use cases for them. Tireless Tribe, Phyrexian Missionary, Peregrine Drake. So we're going to go through here. Let's see what we got in this last one we're going to open here on the video. We've got a Oath of Nissa. So enters a battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library, reveal a creature, land, or planeswalker from among them and put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast planeswalker spells. So that's a really nice one. Just get your planeswalkers out there quicker if you don't have the mana to do so. Collector Oath. Activated abilities of artifacts can't be activated. This is a huge shutdown card. You want to kill any artifact deck, put a Collector Oath in there. I actually might put one in my artifact deck, but Collector Oath is actually really, it's probably the best shutdown you're going to see for artifacts overall, especially if you can make your Oath non-targetable so that your opponent can't get rid of it. We have a foil Dragon's Approach. Deals 3 damage to each opponent. You may exile Dragon's Approach and 4 cards. Name Dragon's Approach from your graveyard. If you do, search your library for a dragon, put it onto the battlefield and shuffle. A deck can have any number of cards named Dragon's Approach. This one's actually really nice in a foil. And then Hish of the Snake Cult. You got Buff Snack in here, Nagas and Serpents. You control our snakes. Snakes you control have Daunt, Death Touch, and Poisonous 2. Daunt can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. When a creature with Poisonous 2 deals combat damage, that player gets 2 points. That is nasty. That is an absolutely nasty card for people who hate poison counters, which is pretty much everyone. But those are just some of what is included inside the Mystery Booster 2 set. Like I said, I will post any other big finds that I get out of this box up over on our Instagram. I believe it's at the Card Chron. If you just search Cardboard Chronicles on Instagram, you will find us. Same thing on Blue Sky, on Twitter, on Threads, on Facebook. And then please sub to us on YouTube, turn on those notifications. You'll get notified whenever an episode goes live. I hope you liked our first video. Please leave comments in the section below on if you liked it or not, things you might like to see. I plan on doing some commander building tips and just reviewing decks that I have. But let us know what you think, and thanks for tuning in today.